Yeah, you're on the Hillbilly Voodoo channel. This here is our 1 year, 500 subscriber episode. Yeah, it's been 1 year already, guys. Hillbilly Voodoo channel. This is what we're all about. It's a channel for all you people out there busting your ass, making sacrifices and compromises on a daily basis just to get by. We're trying to keep this channel about as real as possible and show you all our mistakes, all our fumbles, and all that other stuff. So if you're one of those people out there coming home at the end of the day, dragging your ass, don't have enough energy to go out and do CrossFit or any of that other stuff, this here's the channel for you. Today, we're working on our ultimate off-road ATV, the Bug Out Buggy. So far, we haven't spent really a dime on this project, but you could go out and buy yourself one for $200,000 if you really want. Today, we're going to start taking the pieces that we made in the last episode out of salvage steel from a boiler, and we're going to start assembling our body on the front so that we can put other pieces on this thing and keep going with this project. Stick around, watch the Hillbilly Voodoo in action, see if this channel's for you. Now today's episode is 100% sponsored by this guy right here. I'm a one-man show, no fancy cameras, no fancy camera work. We don't have drones flying around. We don't even have anybody to help us with editing. So what you get is what you get. Hopefully you're entertained. To my 500 and some odd subscribers out there right now, you guys are awesome. You're the reason I'm doing this. Now, in our last episode, I left you with me fabricating these ribs, as I'm calling them, to start forming our body. You want to go back and watch that last one, you can see how I started making them. I left off with just one, now we have 4 pieces of sheet metal welded together into a rib style formation. Now this rib style formation is going to go onto the side of our frame like this. See that? And that's where our body and everything is going to start to be formed off of. So I'm going to start cleaning up our frame here so that we can position this stuff and tack it into place. And then we'll know if these rib style ideas are going to work for building our body off of, or if we're going to have to come up with some other goofy idea. So let me grab my grinder and start cleaning some of this paint off of this stuff so that we got a good place to tack to, and we'll go from there. Now that I got our frame all cleaned up there and back here where we're going to mount those 2 uprights, I'm going to level the frame this way and I'm going to level the frame this way so that I can use my level on those little rib things, and hopefully everything will be as level as I need them to be anyway. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Well, now that I got my frame all leveled this way and leveled that way, I'm going to try to clamp one of these in place here with some, I'm going to clamp them with some clamps. Yeah, that totally made a whole lot of sense. Anyways, so that I can adjust this around, get it as level, well, I guess it's not level, as perpendicular to the frame as possible. gets up and down is called plumb, right? Yeah. This is level, this is plumb. So we're gonna get this as plumb as we can, both this way and this way. We're gonna use this surface as the level part, the plumb part this way. When I built these, I got 3 really square and nice and done properly. And then I got super overexcited on the 4th one and started just laying big, huge, long beads. And this is thin metal. And long story short, it got a little bit warped, but I'm hoping that I can at least adjust it enough so that this flat here is flat this way. So let's see how close we can get this. Probably going to take a whole lot of wrangling and finagling to get it where I need it. I'm probably going to have to stuff some shims and stuff in there to get it kind of sort of lined up. Now you can see right there that I have used nails as shims of all things. They're kind of like a wedge, so you put one in from either side and you push them together like this and it will move it in and out. When you're a one-man show and you don't have any hands, clamps and shims are your friend. So you'll see that we got that within the bubble there. And, ooh, jump around, everybody gets sick. Within the bubble there. So now, if we weld that into place, or at least tack it into place, it should be more or less where we need it. Now, like I said, this one rib here has got a bit of a twist this way, so I tried to compensate for that. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll tack it in there, and if anything, we can always just do the old pry bar method, stuff something through there and give it a tweak out that way. It is sheet metal. The heat twisted it one way, so we should be able to kind of sort of force it out the other way. So I'll tack that in there and then we'll see if it's where we're going to need it to be. Well, I got 3 of our ribs tacked in there now, and it's kind of looking like they're lined up there and where we need them to be. Now, in order to get that last one in there, I'm gonna have to take that tire off and actually, yeah, I was dreading taking the tire off, but it's got to come off so we can finish that brake anyways. So let's just bite the bullet and do it. and get it out of the way. I'm thinking that maybe I'm just going to put this whole machine on some temporary wheels, but yeah, let's get that one out of the way first and then decide from there. Well, instead of jumping all over it, we'll get that one out of there, we'll put that other brace in or that other rib in, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. Yeah, if I get that tire out of there, then we can put this thing on some lower, smaller wheels, and I won't have to try to step over that frame all the time, and it should make things a little easier on my body at least. So yeah, let's move that wheel. Now here's a super awesome tip for all you people out there spending your money going to a gym to do CrossFit. Guess what? Here's a no-brainer for you. You could go find any farm around you pretty much any farm anywhere, and they would probably pay you to do the same thing that you're going to the gym to pay them to do. And if you can't find a farm, go find a tire store. You're doing the exact same thing. You could probably make some money doing it. Well, you probably have to get a little bit dirty, but that's probably the problem. Anyways, let's move this big, huge tire. I've unbolted it now. See that? You don't flip the tire, you roll the tire. Okay, now we can get it to this side of the frame, and we can also get to the brake and everything. We got our last rib welded in there now, and I'm really liking the way this is looking. It's kind of steampunk industrial. Yeah, it's just kind of speaking to me. So I think we're going to continue on building this, well, body out of our flat stock turned into square stock. Got quite a bit more of it left out there in the form of that fuel barrel. For those of you just finding us now, we made this out of the skin from my boiler. So I think I'm going to keep continuing to cut pieces off of that, and we'll make some cross braces like that piece that I got stuck there now. We'll make some square tubing out of flat stock. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Make square tubing out of flat stock. Hopefully we can do it without getting too much warpage and all that other stuff. So let's go start harvesting some more metal out of that boiler so we can actually get that boiler out of our face. This is what we got left of our fuel tank skinned boiler type thing that has been heating my shop for the last 10 years or so. After cleaning it all out, I've determined that the actual burner part of it is, well, it's built out of really thick steel. So I'm going to recycle that into a wood stove for the inside of the shop so that I can heat this place and not get all cold and bitchy. But we do still have a hell of a lot of that thin stuff on the outside here. So I'm going to start chopping the rest of this thing up so that I can use that piece on the inside for my wood stove and the skin on the outside for our off-road ATV thing. If anybody's curious about how this boiler was built, the main part of that drum is the front drum off of a walk-behind asphalt roller. Yeah, that's kind of weird, eh? But that's the drum off of an asphalt roller. It necks down into a 100-pound propane cylinder, and it was skinned with a farm fuel tank. We had water in there. It was a water jacket boiler, and it heated the shop and heated the barns. But like I said, the bottom part of the outside skin here was getting really, really thin, so it was time to rebuild it. Now the fire was in the chamber here. It was also this chamber here where it necks down. You could also put wood in here if it was really, really long, but it's not really what it was designed for. This was designed as a reburner chamber for the stuff that was burned in here. All the wood and everything would get burned up. The excess gases would drop down and heat up in here and burn in here. So when you looked in the door of the fire, you saw the wood burning in here, and you saw that this big gaseous cloud burning in here. And then it went up the chimney. All this was filled with water. We pumped the water, cold water in through the bottom. Hot water came out through the top, through the shop, blah, 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 heated everything up. So I will be building another one of this style, but it might not happen this year. So like I said, we're going to turn this drum into just a wood stove for in the shop. So enough of that yapping. I'm going to start cutting this up. I'm not going to show me cutting all this up and boring you guys with all that stuff. So I'll bring you back when I actually got some big pieces of steel that I can start working with. I've chopped up the rest of that boiler more or less into manageable pieces. And I came in here and I realized that we're really not done with these ribs. We still need a rib for the front here. But because the frame is angled up this way, it's going to be different shape. Yeah, you guys probably understand what I'm talking about there. It's got to be the same, but it's got to be different. It's got to have the same profile like this, but it's obviously got to be shorter because this frame is higher than that point there, right? So I'm going to do some cardboard aided design here, and then I'll load my CAD file onto that piece of steel or some of that steel that I've salvaged, and we'll chop it out with a grinder and bring you back when I'm ready to start tacking it together into another rib style thing there. Well, I chopped out a few pieces of our new shaped old rib onto our stinky pack rat metal. Yeah, stinky pack rat metal. It's gross. But anyways, it does the job. Now, for those of you having some existential life crisis because you want to build stuff and you can't because you don't have fancy plasma cutters and CNC tables and all that other stuff, you don't need it. It's all a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It makes stuff way super faster, like way faster, but you can still do it. It's something that can be handled with basic tools, a grinder, a drill, and a hole saw. All you do is cut it out, rough shape, take your cardboard aided design, scratch it out on your piece of metal, cut it out with your grinder, stack all your pieces together, clamp them together, weld them in a few spots along it, drill your holes wherever you want them. You don't have to drill holes in them if you don't want to. You got all your pieces all clamped together. They're going to be different sizes because you just chopped it out with a grinder. Grinders aren't super precision, but got all your pieces tacked together. Take your grinder, smooth them all out to the smallest one that's in the stack. Cut the spot welds off. You're good to go. You got the pieces fabricated. They're all identical more or less, and you didn't have to have a big, huge, fancy plasma cutter to do it. Yeah, so stop whining. Don't blame your tools. Go out and build something. Okay, I'm going to start tacking this together in our little square ribby style thing. I'll bring you guys back when I got it actually tacked and show you what it looks like before I finish weld it and hopefully not warp it all up. All our pieces all spotted together here. We've taken 4 flat chunks and made one square chunk. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish weld all this together. Hopefully I won't warp it too bad. And then we'll stick it on our machine and see if it fits properly. Our rib's all finished welded and tacked into place there now, and you can kind of see where I was going with it. Got it all lined up. square, level with all the other stuff. And through the magic of editing, I also got this side done too. Looks pretty good. It's kind of giving you an idea of the shape of what this machine is going to be. Now I'm going to contour the front, obviously, a little differently. I'm going to probably use the same idea as these welding together pieces of sheet steel, because that's kind of working for me. So, but I think I'm going to leave this video here because I'm getting really cold and I'm getting really crabby, and I think that maybe I better go and build myself a wood stove. So until next time, guys, use what you got to make what you want, and I'll see you later.